couple of years ago, I was told that a very dear friend of mine, a former colleague in both Deep Purple and Whitesnake, keyboardist John Lord, had been diagnosed with cancer, and one of his requests would be for us to reform some kind of Deep Purple Mark III reunion. And so I said, yes, absolutely, I'll be there for you, you know. Sadly, John passed away. And one of the things I wanted to do at that time was reach out to Ritchie Blackmore, the guitarist with Deep Purple. I looked upon Ritchie and John as the colossus of Rhodes musically. To stand between them and learn so many incredible lessons at my 21, 22 years old was extraordinary. He said, would I be interested in working on a reunion aspect, a Deep Purple scenario, without John, of course. So, you know, we talked a little further, and then I spoke with Ritchie's representatives and stuff, and a lot of the ideas weren't really appealing to me, unfortunately. But knowing me, as I do, I was already doing preparatory work on these songs and hoping Ritchie would be open to bringing them up to date, reappraising some of them, you know, because I was a kid writing this stuff. So when I withdrew from this potential project, I was having dinner with my wife, Cindy, and I said, I've done all of this work. It's so sad, you know, that it's not going to see the light of day. And she said, well, why don't you do it under the Whitesnake banner? I took a little time to think about it, and I spoke to my musicians and asked how they'd feel about it, and everybody was incredibly positive. So it was all systems go.
I know that it's the most exciting thing that David's ever said to me. And David said some pretty exciting things, you know, like, we'll be touring with the Scorpions next year. And, you know, that was exciting for me. You know, there's been moments, but that was a moment because all of a sudden that music just flashed before my eyes, and I was just thinking of all the different things we could do, and, you know, it was such a great idea. I said, Jesus, how'd you come up with that? What a killer idea.
Deep Purple changed the landscape of hard rock as we know it. So, I mean, that's almost impossible to answer, you know, how they've affected me as a musician. They're huge. They're one of the titans of rock, you know, true monsters of rock. So, like I said, they changed the landscape of rock and roll as we know it. So it's affected everything that I've learned. It's blues-based rock, which just ages like a fine wine, baby.
Often told you stories about the way I lived the life of a drifter, waiting for the day.
Oh man, we had a ball. You know, like the first day we got together to start doing some basic tracking with Tommy for drums. Oh, I knew right away as soon as we, you know, went into the first song. I was like, this is gonna be really cool. This is going to be something really special. It sounded badass.
Coming out of nowhere, driving like rain. Storm, bring the dance on the thunder again. Dark cloud gathering, breaking the day. No point running 'cause it's coming your way.
David's there for every moment of the recording. It's like his baby. You know, I've never seen an artist be so involved in their stuff. And really, all of his ideas, you know, 98% of his ideas are really good ideas. And it almost pisses me off, you know. I had no idea that David was such a good songwriter. He's always right. It's really something.
Sail away tomorrow, sailing far away, to find you steal or borrow. I'll be there someday.
I like to look at Whitesnake as chapters. And this is a brand new sounding chapter of Whitesnake. We've specifically gone for a cleaner, more powerful, punchy sound. And it's going to be immediately noticeable. It's obviously, you can totally hear it's Whitesnake. This is Coverdare's little boy singing, so that's a giveaway. But we've definitely we've gone for a much bigger, cleaner, punchier sound than the overdriven guitar sound of the last 10 years. So that's that really is a fresh start for me.
DC he's really great at this. He's really great at like putting people in certain situations, and he gives you some direction. He says, "Go do your thing." He gets the hell out of your way, which is really amazing, you know. And I really love that about him. And what it does is it puts you in a situation where someone is there being very, very supportive, and giving you all this inspiration and motivation for you to be yourself and do whatever it is that you do. And he's really an ace at that, you know. And I've always respected that and admired that in him. And he just said, "Man, just go for it and do what you do," you know. And that was pretty much it, you know. And he said, "Just let us go." We talked about, you know, with Rebby and Michael and stuff when we first got in here, and trying to do what we thought would be enhancements, you know, and just maybe shining a little brighter light on certain areas that were already there and already present on the original recordings, but just shining a little bit of a brighter light on it. And coming back and hearing what these guys have put down is amazing. It'll scare the hell out of a few guitar players, you know, when they hear this record. There's some amazing stuff going on.
It's a tribute, a homage. It's a huge thank you from me for the opportunity I was given. You know, as I said to Richie, you know, you guys set me on a journey that continues today. And I couldn't have asked for better professors. You know, the University of Deep Purple was an extraordinarily amazing school to learn, and I still to this day utilize good lessons and some not so good lessons I've observed back in the day. But there's no element of any disrespect. I don't do comparisons. I'm extraordinarily proud of what the guys have brought to the table, and it's a salute to my former colleagues and a celebration of the incredible music that we made together.